Welcome to Bullet Point. We are your host. I'm EP.
I'm JM.
Every week we're going to talk about competitive shooting and everything around it.
So, if you're an aficionado, a beginner, enthusiast, this is your show.
You can easily connect with us through PHLV Radio Facebook page, Bullet Point Facebook page, or simply email us at bulletpointmediaproduction@gmail.com.
Now, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel so you can get the latest episodes of Bullet Point. Are you ready?
Stand by. What's going on, everybody?
Yes.
How are you, JM?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, well,
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes,
welcome,
we're back.
guys, back to Bullet Point. Today, we're not going to, it's not going to be a quick episode.
Yeah.
We're doing a necessary one because there's something happening to the practical shooting right now that we would want to talk about.
Yep.
So, if you're competing under the USPSA or IPSC, you feel it. You see it. You scroll it past it. The gear is getting better.
Yes.
Right?
You know, aside from that, optics are getting larger. Triggers are getting lighter. Compensators are getting flatter.
That's true.
And the builds are getting cleaner. But the cost, they're accelerating.
Do you believe that? Yes or yes or no? And here's the real question. Nobody wants to say out loud. Are we still building shooters or are we building checkbooks?
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
That's hard, huh?
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
one are we?
I think the latter.
The latter, right?
Shooting is expensive. We all
Actually,
know
it
that.
is. It's
Yeah.
actually getting expensive. But, it's just like everything else, right? So that's the reason why, guys, we're asking that question. Is practical shooting evolving naturally? That's the other question.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the evolution definitely is there.
Right. Or are we entering an equipment arms race that changes, who can realistically complete at highest levels?
That's the truth.
Right.
So this is not a compliant episode, by the way, guys. This is not a anti-innovation. We just want to talk about things, right? So this is a strategic analysis because if you don't analyze trends while you're in them, you only recognize them when it's too late.
Right.
Okay.
So this is a great topic because again, I think our hobby or any hobby more so is always tied to dollars and cents. Your
Exactly.
dollars and cents, our dollars and cents, right? So we all work hard and we play hard. So we're gonna try to break it down, right? So the real financial anatomy of a competitive shooter in today's age.
Exactly.
Right? And how rule shifts unintentionally drive spending, right? How does that affect everybody? The sponsorship and the super squad distortion effect.
No,
We all see that, right? And we'll dive deeper in your idols on the social media platforms. And the division health and cultural drift. And the emergence of semi-pro player. What does that mean?
Yes.
Right? And what it means for the future sport of America. So I know we're going deep, and let's start where everything starts, which
Where?
is
money.
Yeah.
All right. So the true cost of being competitive. Let's stop guessing, So
Yeah.
let's model it because feelings don't change sports. Actually the numbers do.
Yeah.
So open division, you and me, right?
Yes, yeah.
National contender model, custom open build is about
I would say I would say it's 6,500 to
6,500?
$7,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So national contender model custom open build is about, let's just say $6,500, $7,000, right?
Yep.
So you have your custom build like $6,500. Let's just talk about that
Yeah.
number. You buy your optic.
Mm-hmm.
It ranges
Yeah.
about $800, $850.
Right.
I don't know if everybody has a backup optic
Or a backup gun.
or a backup gun. That's
Right.
another. No, that's
Yeah.
that's times two now, right?
Right.
Let's just talk about backup optics
Yeah,
only
yeah.
for just in cases,
Yeah.
right? So times two, primary
Right.
optic.
Do you
and
have
then-
a backup optic?
No, a backup gun.
So it's times two already for you.
Well, right? Who would have the time to put an optic and then
Oh, yeah.
zero it again, right?
I don't think that's
But just
gonna
for this
be
conversation,
efficient.
backup optic.
Yep.
I never heard about that, but yeah, Tune magazine. How many magazines?
I have a this one gets expensive really fast.
Yeah.
And it could go upward of $1,000 to $1,200.
Yeah.
I have a set of like Practice magazine, which I use for locals.
Yeah, and
then I have another
majors.
like 7 or 8 of them that are just
for majors,
for
right?
major matches.
Exactly, that's
it.
how it is. So let's just say $1,000. So
Right.
we're talking about the gun, $6,500, 2 optics, $800 each, so times 2,
Yeah.
and then $1,000 worth of magazine.
Yeah.
What else? Holsters and belts.
Yeah, so you have your holster, belt, and pouches. That's easily like $500-600.
Exactly.
You know?
And what else? Those things that we buy.
Right. You got your
springs,
parts. Yeah, spare parts.
There's a lot of springs, magazine or the gun springs.
Backup stuff.
Backup things
Yeah.
for the year. Because you and me, we shoot a lot. We change our springs every now and
Right,
then.
right,
Let's just
right.
say $1,000, $1,200 for
Yeah.
that. Oh, the reloading part.
Right.
It's an open gun.
Yeah,
so
it's an open gun.
You have to make your own ammo.
So you can either I think nowadays, even if you don't reload the ammo for any major platform, whether it's 9 or 38 Super Comp, it's still very expensive.
It's expensive.
You know, so
just for the equipment setup alone.
like the reloading setup, you're probably looking at about $3,000.
Just for like if you start like XL 750.
Yeah, like a 750. I know
Like a
750 is
750, right?
like around
Yeah.
1,500, and then you got to buy the dies.
Yeah. Just to complete the set.
Yeah,
The set whole setup.
case feeder and
A
all that
working
stuff.
one.
Yeah, the working one. Yeah.
$3,000 maybe, right? You're good.
Right. Yeah, you're
Okay.
good. And then don't forget the components.
Oh, the components, of course.
your, your powders.
How much
primers.
bullet do you do in a year?
Ooh.
Let's just say 15,000.
I usually I re-up at around 20.
20? Okay,
Yeah.
15, 20,000 rounds a year. Let's say about $6,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Your gun, your
Right.
optics, your magazines, holsters, spare parts, reloading equipments, your, what do you call this? Your powder, primer,
Yep.
etc.
You need a second job.
Okay, so let me just add it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, 20 grand. All
Ouch.
right.
Yeah. So
20
that's just I would say that's just the local
Yeah.
like level level
Your
1
need.
Needs,
Okay.
right? To start it off. Now,
Yes.
if you add the competition level and when we say competition level, you start doing level 2, level 3 matches, which requires you to go out of state.
Oh, that's
Right?
another
So
story.
if you compute it, let's say hypothetically you have like 4 to 5 majors per year that you look forward to, right? So flights about $2,000 to $2,500. You got your hotels or Airbnb with your friends,
Yes.
which usually significantly kind of drops down the
Reduces,
price,
yeah,
right?
that's right.
And then the entry fees, the match fees, which we've noticed an uptick
There was.
of price
Last
going up.
year? Oh my
So,
God.
and this is a whole different topic. I know that the match fees goes up, but I think the same kind of match quality is there's no difference on that. So there's a whole
Another
entirely
story,
topic
yeah.
of quality versus what you're paying for your matches.
Yes.
Because I remember when we first started 4 or 5 years ago, like 200 to 250 is already expensive.
It's gonna hurt you a lot
Now,
already, right?
now I think that's one of the cheapest ones, and
Yeah.
we've seen
485.
375. Yeah, and we're like, wow, And then for others that has, a +1, or
definitely.
so it gets pricey quick on,
Exactly.
on major. So I think a lot of the shooters are getting more strategic. Instead of the volume, they choose a lot of the lesser quantity, but a lot more bang for their buck.
Exactly.
Literally, right? So aside from the entry fees, you have your rental cars. Again, if your friends are all kind of piling up together, not just rental cars, but your own vehicle, like gas and whatnot, and then plus food.
Food,
When
yeah,
you Airbnb,
definitely.
everybody kind of spends money on food too. So roughly, you're looking probably about 20 to 23 grand per year.
25,000, let's just say, right?
Yeah. So again, it's not a lifestyle luxury. It's a performance sustainability. platform. So
That's for the open.
that's just for the open.
Okay, guys, $25,000 a year.
Yeah, that's that. I think open, one of the most expensive divisions.
Yeah.
You know.
So if there's two of you, that's you multiply that by two.
Times two.
Well, you need to have a second
You know,
job.
if you're husband and wife, or your siblings, or even if you have like a junior,
Yeah.
it still gets expensive pretty fast.
That's open. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Care Optics. All right. So, serious amateur model. Gun maybe about 2,800.
yeah.
Optics about $600. Magazines and extensions about 700. We're just throwing numbers there, guys. Like what we feel like it. The cost of it. Gear system similar, about $500. Ammo, 15,000 rounds to let's just say $4,000 a year. Let's just talk about two major trips only, about $4,000.
Yeah.
So for the Care Optics side, looking about $15,000 annually. So this is, the so-called working man's division.
Right.
I'm not discounting it. It's our own choice.
Right.
But,
Right. No, I think on the Carry Optics side, one of the upticks of this division is, again, you can have a $500-$600 Glock and run that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can spend or channel your resources, some other portion, which is ammo. You can invest
definitely.
on
Where
ammo.
you save at, you put it in the other one.
Right. So I think when you say working man's division, this is more of a affordability level, which broadens a lot of shooters, especially on the entry level.
Especially, a lot of us are wondering, okay, what is it to be in that sport? This could be the route for you. But let's just pause here a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So the median American household income in the US does not allow for a $15,000 annual hobby. It's not going to happen.
That's why you need a second job.
Exactly. So it's not really comfortable, right? So this is something that we need to talk about, something important. National competitiveness now requires financial prioritization.
Right.
It's a given, guys. It's not just, because there's really cost. And it varies, depends on, what division, but still, at the end of the day, there's cost here. And it's not cheap. So this is not the casual participation or prioritization. 5 years ago, you could be competitive half of that number. This is what I've heard. The cost curve has doubled faster than inflation alone can explain.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, JM. There's acceleration on the cost of being competitive in this sport.
Right. So a good indicator here is, especially on the new shooters that are coming into this sport, right? You all look at, like, is this something? Is this a hobby? Is this a weekend hobby for you? And how far do you really want to go to the down the rabbit hole?
Exactly.
Right? Do you want to be super competitive and go out of state, attend all these level 2, level 3 matches?
Yes.
And that's one of the things that, whenever we encounter new shooters, and we start talking to them, and granted the gears are completely different, but how serious do you want to be in this sport?
Usually I tell them, hey, just use whatever you have first,
right?
Before you even venture into something bigger, more expensive, So and there's another thing too that I would want to talk about, Jim. It's about how the 2026 rule shifts. Because these rules create economic pressure for the shooters, right? So rules are neutral on paper, but they are not neutral economically. So that's kind of tough because every time a rule allows incremental advantage, okay, the market responds immediately. When optics were allowed in a new division, what happened?
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of reasons for that.
Yeah.
Innovations exploded.
Exactly.
The window size increased on the optic, and the dot clarity improved. Durability improved, right? And mounting systems kind of redefined each, which is, one of the good things is it's always an advantage to us shooters because we have a lot of choices.
Well,
right?
that's true too. Yeah.
So when you say create economic pressure under the USPSA, a great example of that is the limited optics.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That limited optics platform opened up the floodgates for a 2011 platform with a dot on it. So and then just this past SHOT Show, plenty of 2011 platforms out
Came
there,
out, yep.
right? So a lot of marketing strategies and companies that are putting out all these variations of 2011s that you can use specifically for that division.
Exactly. And you've seen that, it's just there. I like the way that you said it. There's a lot of choice.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But then again, choices, your prices changes too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variation of
Right.
how you position, where do you want to, your buck is going to go.
Right.
So
Right.
once top shooters adopted better optics, the baseline actually moved. And the same thing happened to the trigger system,
right.
the aftermarket grip modules, slide milling, your comp tuning, your port geometry, and magazine extension. You name it. It's just a lot of movement.
It's a domino effect.
Yes.
Right. So once that platform kind of rises, again, given the example of limited optics, a lot of these parts coming, are just being manufactured left and right.
Yeah.
Which again, the end user is us.
Yes.
Right. And we have a lot of choices now, and we're not just pigeonholed to a specific range of price. We can now kind of choose from the low end to the high end.
Yes.
Right. Now, what does that translate to? I think that translates to, you have to look at it as, does your gear make you a better shooter, right? If I buy this $8,000 gun, am I going to be,
Will I be better than the other guy, right?
Or it's just a placebo effect, or make me feel better that I have a reliable platform compared to the one that I had before.
Yeah. So under USPSA, JM, innovation inside division rule is natural. But under IPSC, division integrity is structured. So here's the reality now. So if a rule allows a performance gain, competitors will chase it.
Right.
Definitely, right? So, and chasing, it means money too. It costs you, right?
Yeah.
So it's not corruption. It's just, we know a way now of optimizing. It's optimization, really. But optimization compounds, just like what we were talking about before, right? Okay, I have this red dot, the optic. Now it was doing fine when you were shooting,
and then comes a new product.
There comes out new product,
better,
bigger window,
better features.
So you would want to look into that again and see if it's going to work well. When equipment improvements lack, advantage becomes cumulative. So this is back in 2016. Equipment differences were noticeable. In 2026, oh no, man. Equipment differences are measurable. And measurable differences create spending pressure. That's where the economics comes in.
Yeah, no, a good example of that is when I did limited, right? And when I started limited.
Yeah.
I think I had, at one point, I had like 7 limited firearms, pistols.
Okay.
So,
why?
So again, it was more of a, all right, well, let me buy this because this is what I think is better in the market right now, and then
that's what it is.
And then again, you just accumulate all those stuff, and like thousands of dollars later, looking back, I'm like, I should have just done a lot more research. I should have
just before.
Yeah. So
that's right.
that effect kind of at the end of the day kind of burns a hole in your pocket because you're, again, being the end user, you're the one who's spending.
Yes, that's true. So that's the economic part, right?
Right.
Now let's look at the super squad distortion effect.
Yeah.
Okay, we look into all of this, the super squad, they say, right? So in 2010, your benchmark was local because that's all you know.
Yeah.
But in 2026, your benchmark is actually national. I'm just going to tell you my experience. All I knew before was just nationals. Locals. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, last year, the other year, we were talking about nationals and want to be part of nationals.
Yeah.
So that changed the dynamic a little bit. You open your Instagram, you see your national footage, you see your pristine builds out there, right? So you see factory sponsorship, you see full-time training schedules, and your brain absorbs, this is the standard.
Right.
Now your brain is leveled up.
Right. So again, in this day and age where social media is a very powerful tool, and I think a lot of companies leverage that and try to maximize that along with our favorite shooters online, right? So what you're saying is, when you're sitting at the couch and you're strolling and you see a lot of these
elite shooters, right?
Yeah, elite shooters, top shooters, nationally and compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
And then when they do a gear breakdown or they're sponsored or whatnot, you start kind of, your brain tricks you into looking into it and trying to do some research and maybe will make me a better shooter if I buy this specific item, right? So, but what you're seeing is elite, right? Not average. And here's where the distortion begins, right? So new shooters now compare themselves to sponsored shooters before they even shot their first classifier.
That's
right.
true.
We fall into that trap. I fell into that trap when I was beginning. The perception gap kind of widens faster than the skill gap.
Yes.
Right. And the perception shapes participation.
Yes.
Right. So if the sport appears financially inaccessible, fewer people try.
Yeah.
Right. And they'll just be like, I think I'm good. For
I'm good.
One match,
I'm okay.
Right. And a few people try, grassroots shrink. It's again domino effect and social media amplified visibility, especially like a lot of your favorite shooters or content creators, YouTubers or GunTubers, is what
GunTubers,
right? They've had a full media staff with them, and they document everything on the range and whatnot. But it is also an amplified perceived barrier, right? And that's new. That's new for the most people, and it matters.
It matters. That's right. So that's for the what do you call it? Super squad distortion effect. But let's talk about division drift. Let's just talk about production. Is it really fading? Okay.
That's always been a good debate. Whether, like, let's look at limited or limited 10 or production. But when you look at major matches, they're still part of that division. They're still part of that category on major matches. So is production really fading? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think
I still
it is.
see them.
I mean, they're still, like, for example, over the weekend it was Western States in Arizona. And that's single stack. That's
I've seen that too in California when I shot over the weekend. In iron sights. But I don't know, stricter modification limits maybe.
And it's a lower equipment ceiling. Remember, for our folks, when we dissected all the divisions, production
Before,
was one of the easy, like, quote unquote easier to get into as far as equipment and gears are concerned. Right?
Especially for the newcomers.
But again, optics are they offer speed if you compare that with iron sights, and we know, like, speed wins on our sport. I mean, carry optics have surged nationally. Open remains aspirational. PCC kind of carved in themselves into that niche. So. Production participation, I think it's consistent. It's more of a slower growth, and it's there. Right.
It's not dead, but it's there.
It's not a dominant division
for here in the U.S. But I've seen in the Philippines.
In the Philippines,
it's still dominant.
It's still. I think that's one of the advantages for our fellow Filipino shooters, or the Southeast Asia. It is that core skill
Yes,
of
so-
iron sights, right? Everybody's kind of teaching the foundation. You were taught with the foundation. I was taught with
That's
the
how I
foundation
started, yeah.
of iron sights. Iron sights will build that good foundation and kind of sprawled into
That's
a
right.
different platform. When performance tools increase efficiency, kind of the culture kind of shifts towards efficiency as well.
Yeah.
It's a natural reaction.
Yeah.
Right? But when one division dominates culturally, others kind of shrink.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Especially in the Philippines, where iron sights are dominant.
Yeah.
Of course, economics has always something to play
Right.
onto that.
Right.
Well, not always, but it has.
Yes.
So division health is ecosystem health. That's how I look at it. So. How much can you afford? So in the Philippines, shooters
Yeah.
can afford that
Right.
versus an open.
And when we see this a lot more on the western side
Yeah.
of shooting, but where we can kind of play around with different divisions and
Yes.
different platforms. Again, accessibility of your gear
Yeah.
and affordability of your gear comes into play. In the other parts of the world, they kind of tend to stick to that division
Yes.
forever. And when I say forever, it's probably because they started there and they got better at it, and then they stuck with it. They got stuck with it. Rarely, oftentimes, whenever we shoot, let's say when we started limited, we can jump into open, we can jump into limited optics, but for others, it's one division kind of dominates for themselves culturally. And again, if diversity shrinks,
Yes.
sports flexibility kind of
Yeah,
shrinks.
that's
too,
right. That's true.
So that's a long-term consideration.
So let's talk about entering a semi-pro era. Huh. No, we're not professional shooters. We're just weekend shooters, but we love the sport, right?
Yeah, we do.
So that's the reason why this is the pivotal question there.
Yeah.
National competitiveness now requires, financial sustainability, travel commitment, redundant equipment, dedicated training time. In your experience, not only nationally, internationally, you've done this.
Yeah.
But this just like us.
Yeah.
2026 has not come yet. But, latter part of 2025, we're already plotting what games
Right,
and what
right.
division, all of these things for
Yeah.
2026. Basically, before 2026 even hit, we're done. We already planned for financials,
Right.
the travel, how we're going to be going there, all of this stuff. That structure resembles semi-professional sports already.
agree.
Because we prepare for it, even that we're not professional doing this.
Yeah, it's not a full professional approach by all means. This is not our full-time gig or our job. Right?
Yeah.
We do this is our at the end of the day, this is our sport.
Yeah.
But it's no longer a purely hobbyist approach.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. What do you call
At
it?
least for the time being that we've been shooting,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
so maybe 6 years now.
Yeah.
And I think we've made that commitment in the beginning, and I think commitment plays a long part of it as well. Because when you go to these matches and you spend a lot of money traveling, and you see the common denominator, you see common people.
Yeah.
So that means from your point, we've already plotted our 2026 season
Yes.
out, like November or Q4 of last
Yeah.
year. We've already planned it out, right? So if we talk about it, we may be entering a layered system here,
Yes.
right? And you have your tier one national contenders.
Yeah.
And,
I'll be attending that nationals,
right. So, and then you have your tier two regional grinders.
Yeah, which region?
area matches,
Exactly.
and you have your tier three, which is your local,
definitely,
your
yeah.
local heroes, your
Practice.
local weekend warriors. All are valid.
Yeah,
By the way,
definitely,
okay.
yeah.
So I think it's that ecosystem. If it works, it works.
It works, yeah.
Right? But economically separated, the danger isn't elite performance. The danger is more of a cultural disconnect.
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
If you look at it on a tier one and national level, becomes aspirational but inaccessible. Right? Yeah. We see a lot of these. Let's say World Shoot or level 3 matches, and there are many times that I couldn't go. Right,
Yes.
I couldn't go because of XYZ reasons. Right, and the ladder narrows, and the reasoning kind of broadens up. But the sports survive on ladders, not cliffs.
Not cliffs.
Right?
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, is this a threat or national evolution? This is something, right? Because every sport's evolved. Golf equipment. I remember when we were playing golf, it evolved.
Yeah.
Equipment evolved. This is similar to how competitive shooting is. Cycling technology exploded. So motorsports became engineering competitions. So what works well, they keep on doing all of these innovations. Shooting will not reverse technological advancement.
No,
so
I don't think so.
the real issue isn't gear improvement. It's accessibility preservation. I believe that.
Yeah.
That's why I like, when you talk about SHOT Shows, you would see what are gears out there available to us.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's not just SHOT Shows, but the international platform for showcasing new gears, right? It's an important piece of technology as far as evolution. When you mention evolution, a lot of manufacturers are already planning out for next year's SHOT Show and what they're gonna launch. If you talk about threat or national evolution, to me, as long as the local matches remain affordable, at least for the time being.
But we've seen upticks.
We've seen upticks.
Yeah.
Again, I think I don't. I think I rarely see a $20-$25 match fee now.
No,
they're all
40,
50
on local matches.
Yeah, local matches, and the thing is, like, if you look at your clubs, each and every club that you guys shoot, as long as they welcome new shooters with open arms, again, it kind of that's the fuel to the fire.
That's right.
Right. Entry setups remain viable. I don't think when you mention gears, and even more so when you if we rewind back before or during the pandemic where nothing's accessible, and I think that the pricing kind of drives it up. Now again, a lot of the manufacturers have kind of oversupplied it for everybody now, which is good, and the sport survives.
Yeah.
But this, again, the perception kind of overrides reality, and the new shooters believe $10,000 is mandatory.
No, not really.
And then the growth slows, right?
Yeah.
So that discourages a lot of folks. So culture matters more than equipment. And don't think that you can't shoot because you have these gears that's laying around the house. That's I don't see that happening. If whatever you have, run it
First, or how I tell everybody, if you got friends that, I'm sure there are some gears out there that's laying, that they're not using.
Right.
Try to start there, just to feel the game first. It might not be yours, or just to have a feel of that. So let's talk about strategic outlook and solution. What protects the future, right? Mentorship culture at the club level, the one that you were mentioning.
Yep.
As long as you have this club that's opening their arms to new shooters, of course. Honest cost transparency. You cannot tell people this is not a this is a cheap hobby. No, it's not.
No.
Okay, so reinforcing fundamentals over equipment. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Hey, whatever you have, run it first. Okay, you don't have to have all of these expensive gears or even the gun itself. Protecting division diversity. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can start. On this sport, you don't have to be open immediately because it requires more expenses just to be able to run it. Manufacturers offering strong mid-tier gears. You just have to look into research.
Yeah, we do a lot of research.
Or go to a friendly club that will teach you how to start correctly.
Ask questions
without burning your pocket.
Yeah, I think the last part is very important. And we've seen that a lot now that you can have a $500 gun,
Yeah.
and you can also have a $5,000 gun.
Yeah.
But of all the examples that you mentioned, one thing that's very important for everybody, and our viewers, is reaffirming that skill
Yes.
multiplies equipment.
Wow.
Right, and equipment does not replace skill.
There you go.
Okay, so if I bought a Ferrari, and that doesn't mean that I can, I'm a race car driver, or I drive it
It
fast,
doesn't-
right?
yeah, that's
so that's very important. Equipment doesn't replace skill. It's always, again, our sport is skill based,
Yes.
right? A $7,000 gun doesn't fix stage planning.
Oh,
folks,
yeah.
unfortunately.
We were talking about that offline a while
Right,
ago.
yeah.
How you break down your stages, right?
Right.
So we
You
didn't
know.
even talk about, hey, your gun is like this, so you're gonna win the
Right. And
stage.
even so, the most important, expensive optic doesn't fix inefficient movement or
Exactly.
so fundamentals remain undefeated.
Wow, I like that. Well, that's how we started anyway, right?
Yeah,
Limited.
yeah.
We always tell everybody, hey, you would want to know basics first, go limited,
right.
and then
Or
and
production.
Yeah. You evolve from there,
Right.
And then you'll finally see what division is right for you, and of course, economically,
Yeah.
what is actually fits your budget.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's a good thing, bro.
Yes. Yeah, I like it.
So, are we entering the $10,000 setup era? Maybe yes, maybe no. Especially on the national competitive level, all you have to do is to prepare yourself not only on your skills, but of course on your economics, right?
Yep.
So, is that automatically bad? No, I don't
No,
think so.
no.
But it changes the landscape. The equipment race is accelerating. The cost curve is actually rising as well.
Yeah. When you mention cost curve, obviously all the everything's rising,
Yeah.
right? Everything, your food, gas, clothing, So I think it is important to be a well-informed buyer.
Oh, exactly.
Right. So when the perception barrier is growing, also the sport is evolving.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So the responsibility shifts to the culture.
Yep.
By the way, sometimes culture is gonna be hard, especially if you're in a club that everybody's wearing or shooting open.
High end stuff.
There's the peer pressure.
Yeah,
don't-
even like shoes,
Even shoes.
shorts,
Yeah.
and I think the latest trend was the Meta glasses.
The Meta
and all
glasses,
that.
too.
That's an easy $400-500,
Or even your 360 Go
Yeah,
360.
yeah.
Guys, if you want to learn this sports, I know there's going to be a culture, a pressure for you. Just start where you
Yeah.
can afford it,
Yeah.
So the real question is, can you afford it?
Yep.
I know.
Wow.
Maybe.
I hope so. I hope so.
No, actually, no. This
know.
is sustainability is really the question.
Yes.
Can the sport remain accessible while excellence advances? I
Right.
think that's where it should be the mindset.
Right. In our perception or perspective as shooters, are we building shooters?
Yeah.
Or are we building checkbooks? And I think that latter part question is obviously for the manufacturers and in the industry, is obviously they're going to pump out different kind of products for us to buy. So,
Exactly.
You know.
But then again, guys, this is a lovely sport. I love this sport. You, JM, love
Yeah.
this sport. Just position yourself correctly and then enjoy the journey.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So again, guys, this is Bullet Point. My name is EP.
I'm JM.
And we'll see you on the range.